At weight at 154, how you think Crawford did?
You know, they are a weight class for a reason, and you need to ask him. It's different. I know in his mind he think he can do whatever he wants because he's very talented fighter.
I think Canelo's gonna put the beats on him like Dr. Dre.
Do we get a knockdown from Canelo, or does Bud knock down Canelo?
Nah, Canelo's not going down. You could hit Canelo with a Louisville slugger. He's just gonna smile at you.
He say gonna beat him.
Tank Davis and Lamont Roach are gearing up for an intense rematch that's expected to be far more exciting than their first encounter. The controversy from their previous fight has only added fuel to the rivalry, with both fighters determined to make a statement this time. The rematch is scheduled for June 21st in Las Vegas, and based on the buzz around both camps, this fight is unlikely to go to the judges. Tank has already told Roach he won't make it to the final rounds this time.
For going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Oh, Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. Yeah, I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power.
Roach hasn't been shy about sharing his frustrations, especially when it comes to referee Willis. In Roach's view, Willis made several errors that impacted the outcome, including giving Davis extra time to recover after he took a knee and ignoring what Roach believes were illegal actions in the corner. Roach feels that he was denied a fair win because of these officiating mistakes.
Games.
What about Crawford?
Crawford got Canelo, bro. He got to worry about the big Mexican, bro. You got to worry about Canelo Alvarez.
Your new stablemate, so give us a prediction then.
Prediction? It's boxing, though. I got Canelo stopping him. Too big, bro.
Any way you think...
Big. I'm not going to speak for Canelo's team, but me and my father already insisted in sparring Canelo for Crawford. Like, actually sparring, because I know one thing is that they're going to want to... Their game plan is to box Canelo, and we're the best boxers there is, bro. But we're going to...
No way. He can't do the next fight, Roach vented. Look at how many times he messed up the fight, the knee, him going to the corner for help. Roach didn't directly accuse Davis of cheating, but made it clear that he thinks Davis gained an unfair advantage due to questionable calls by the referee. Roach argued that these actions should have led to a disqualification.
Good, in order for you won't mess up your next fight. Because if you fight this guy, you don't look good. The fans, I don't want. He's not gonna look good at winning with this guy. You gotta constantly have fights that you know and fight a guy that's gonna make you look good. The guy gotta pressure you or something. You know, this guy's running around. Crawford's not used to this kind of movement and
weird
stuff.
fit.
Yeah.
Roach and his team went as far as filing a petition with the New York Commission, hoping to get the decision overturned. However, their request was quickly denied. With no other options, Roach shifted his focus to securing a rematch, and now the fight is almost confirmed. "I'm signed and sealed," Roach confirmed, adding that all that's left is for Davis to sign the contract.
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know. And he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terrence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that...
On the other hand, Davis has been mostly quiet. Unlike Roach, he hasn't gone on media rants or blamed anyone. Instead, he's been focused on his training, tuning out distractions, and getting ready with a different level of intensity. Reports from his camp suggest that Davis has taken all the criticism to heart and is using it as fuel to perform better. He knows what people are saying, said Davis's trainer, Calvin Ford. That's why he's not playing around this time. No distractions, no outside noise. He's coming to make a statement. Davis finally spoke up, making it clear that he has no intention of letting the fight go to the judges. "I'm not letting this one go to the judges," Davis said. "This time, I'm finishing it."
Terrence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, you know, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. You know, Terrence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight.
The WBA has already indicated that the rematch will be mandated, meaning Davis either accepts the fight or risks losing his title. But even if the title weren't on the line, Davis has made it clear that he wouldn't hesitate. He's not interested in technicalities. He just wants to leave no room for doubt. According to Davis, Roach is lucky the first fight even made it to the final bell, and this time he plans to finish what he started. Roach, however, believes he knows the key to victory. He exploited weaknesses in Davis's approach and forced the champion to make adjustments early in their first fight.
Or if Crawford has already successfully gotten inside his head.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you know, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want $200 million for Benavidez, and he want $150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
His movement, counterpunching, and ability to stay disciplined made the fight competitive, Roach said. In his mind, that was enough to win, but Davis's power still posed a big threat. Roach knows that avoiding Davis's power for 12 rounds isn't easy. Negotiations for the rematch have been moving quickly, with both camps eager to make it happen. Roach's promoter, Gary Jonas, confirmed that they're just waiting for the final paperwork to be completed. The fight is almost locked in, with Las Vegas set as the venue. The drama from the first fight is still fresh, and the rematch is shaping up to be an even bigger spectacle.
You know, being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Heard it.
Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here first?
You understand? Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stand up, pound for pound, the best in the world, soon to be the Superman.
Roach remains confident but cautious. He's not underestimating Davis, but he believes he can outbox him. The biggest challenge in his eyes isn't Davis himself, but the officiating. Roach is pushing for a neutral referee to ensure a fair fight, convinced that under those conditions, he'll prove himself the better fighter. Davis, however, sees things differently. To him, Roach wasn't winning, he was just surviving. Davis feels that Roach didn't take enough risks and spent more time avoiding than fighting. That's why he's coming into the rematch with a more aggressive mindset. He's aiming for a knockout and isn't hiding that fact. This ain't going 12, Davis said. I'm ending this early, watch me. In the midst of all this, Terrence Crawford has been adding more fuel to the fire. Crawford has been making jabs at Tank Davis, but this time, it's not inside the ring, it's through the media. He's repeatedly stated that Roach was robbed in their first fight and that Tank was supposed to lose. Most recently, Crawford took aim at Davis for something he knows will hurt more, suggesting that Tank should fight Shakur Stevenson on the undercard of his own September 13th showdown with Canelo Alvarez. And just like that, Crawford is making headlines again. But the question is this about boxing, or is Crawford simply taking another shot at Tank?
Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion.
I do wonder how effective Crawford can be if he keeps moving up in weight. You know, like you're starting to see that, you know, now he's not quite as strong. The knockout streak is over. But he can box really, really well. But Madrimov pressed him the whole fight. So obviously the power wasn't getting the respect that he might have gotten when he was a little.
Crawford knows exactly what he's doing by suggesting that Tank should fight on his undercard. He's trying to downplay Davis's status, implying that Tank needs the exposure from fighting under Crawford. But let's be honest, who really needs whom here? It's likely Crawford who could benefit from Tank's star power to boost his own fight. Davis doesn't need to fight under anyone else's card. His fights sell themselves. On the other hand, Crawford's pay-per-view numbers haven't been impressive outside of his fight with Errol Spence. Even his upcoming bout with Canelo carries the risk of not being the massive event Crawford is hoping for. But Crawford isn't just criticizing Tank's status, he's also questioning his pride. Crawford remarked, "If Tank wasn't so cocky not to be on a Terrence Crawford undercard, that would be dope." In other words, he's suggesting that Tank's ego is preventing him from making a smart business decision. But let's be clear, would Crawford ever fight on Tank's undercard? Of course not. This whole situation sounds more like a diss than a serious suggestion. Crawford is testing Tank, hoping to provoke a reaction. And let's face it, he probably will. The tension between the two has been building for some time, with Crawford taking numerous indirect shots at Tank. He's called Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis the best lightweights in boxing, completely overlooking Tank's achievements.
They're two great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why...
He's 185 pounds.
He just looks scrawny in the ring.
Well, he gets
at,
down.
140? 150?
Well,
150?
he just won the 154-pound title. And, before that, he was fighting at welterweight, which is 147. It's not like he doesn't have time to, thicken up a little bit. And if he's walking around at 185, that means he probably cuts a considerable amount of weight to get down to 54. 100%. But I think he's getting thicker. And he was.
But let's not forget, Tank Davis has knocked out 28 of his 31 opponents. He's the fighter who has sold out arenas and broken pay-per-view records. He's the one who made Ryan Garcia quit with a body shot. Yet Crawford, like many others, seems to believe that Roach was the one who came closest to beating Tank. In Crawford's eyes, Tank is set to lose in the rematch with Roach. But why is Crawford acting like Tank has something to prove? Maybe deep down, Crawford knows that Tank is the bigger star. That's got to sting for someone like Crawford, who sees himself as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. While Crawford is undefeated, he hasn't built the same global fan base that Tank has. Now, as Crawford moves up to fight Canelo, he realizes he needs all the star power he can get. The truth is, a fight between Tank and Shakur isn't happening anytime soon. It's not just about pride, it's about business. Shakur might be a talented fighter, but his style doesn't exactly excite casual fans. Tank has made it clear that he wants fights that are worth the money. Shakur isn't a huge draw, and let's face it, his pay-per-view numbers aren't great. On the other hand, a rematch with Ryan Garcia? That's big money. If Tank has options, why settle for a fight with Shakur when he can make more cash by fighting Ryan again?
Based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50-50 fight? Wow.
Because you'd have to gain 20 pounds. Yeah. But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense to Terrence Crawford.
Well, catch weight. You can do something at a catch weight.
What weight you think?
Probably 160.
And don't forget, there's an even bigger issue. Crawford and Tank fight in completely different weight classes. Crawford is up at 168 pounds for this fight, far beyond Tank's weight class. So, why is he even bringing up Tank's name? According to many, Crawford knows Tank is the real star. He knows that by mentioning Tank, he'll get attention. But it's a risky move because if Crawford keeps calling Tank out, it's only a matter of time before Tank responds. And we know that when Tank fires back, he doesn't hold back. Rolando Romero believes Tank Davis will make the right adjustments to win the rematch against Lamont Roach. Speaking to the ring, Romero said that Roach shocked the boxing world with his performance and may have even surprised himself. However, Romero is confident that Davis won't let that happen again. He pointed out that Davis is a 3-division world champion and one of the best fighters of this generation. In his view, a rematch is necessary because the first fight left too many unanswered questions.
Happened in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terrence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better.
I think a lot of Canelo fans, for some reason, they know that there's no excuse. If he loses to Bud, this is a huge mark on his resume. If he beats Bud, he does beat a very accomplished fighter in his era. But there's no ready-made excuses in this fight for Canelo. Canelo should win this fight. And Canelo hasn't been in the fight that, there's no excuses. As far as a big fight, there's no excuses. He can't look as, I was daring to be great. No, this is a fight that on paper Canelo should win. Even if Canelo doesn't look convincing like in a win, that might be a mark on the
16.